These are the 5 most common buyer scenarios that I get. And what I mean by that, I work with a lot of buyers who are moving from out of state and have no idea where in the Phoenix area they should live. These are the 5 most common scenarios that I hear from them on preferences of things that they are looking for in a new home and how I would advise them accordingly. So let's get right into it. Number 1, I get a lot of people who want to live that desert lifestyle. They're moving to Arizona, so of course they want the desert landscape. So there are a few different areas that you can look at that offer more of that desert feel or, more of a desert view, whether it's mountains or cactus or a mountain preserve, those kinds of things. So let me pull up the map and I'll show you what we should check out. Now, different areas, of course, require different budgets. Starting at the most expensive is going to be that North Scottsdale area, kind of by Troon, up here closer to Rio Verde. Even Carefree and Cave Creek can be a little bit pricier, but you do get a lot more land and you can see a lot more of that desert landscape from your house. But if your budget does not go that high, you can look in some other areas. So still in North Scottsdale, the McDowell Mountain Ranch area over here offers a lot of great mountain views and preserve areas close by hiking. You could also check the East Scottsdale area before you get to Fountain Hills. There's some options there as well. And of course, I'm going to include Fountain Hills in this as well. Fountain Hills has a lot of beautiful landscape, mountain views, custom homes, and it can be a little bit more affordable than North Scottsdale. Now, getting out of that North Scottsdale area, we're going to jump down here to Ahwatukee. Ahwatukee is this little triangle here on the south side of South Mountain, and it is surrounded by mountains, with South Mountain being right here. There's a lot of hiking, a lot of homes built in the foothills. That's a beautiful area as well. This location gives you great access to freeways. So the 10 is right here. You're close to also the 143, the 202, 60. So depending on where you work in the valley, this could be an easy location to get to and from. As we head further east, another area with great mountain views is the East Mesa area by the Usery Mountains. Red Mountain Ranch is a great neighborhood, Lascendis over there, Boulder Mountain. All of this is an area where you'll find a little bit more of that desert landscape around the homes that you're looking at. Now, popping over to more of the central Phoenix area, over here by North Mountain, you can get a bit of views as well and throughout central Phoenix. So the Moon Valley area offers that. Also, Lookout Mountain over here is another option. And just a bit south of that, along the 51 here, you can get a bit more mountain views. If you go on this side of the mountain preserve, this is closer to Paradise Valley, Biltmore area. Those are pricier areas, but you can definitely get more views in those areas as well and be more in the center of the city than you would be in that North Scottsdale area. Now, I'm not going to neglect the West Valley. Let's go north first. Over here, Stetson Hills area, you can get a little bit more of that desert landscape in that area, as well as Norterra. As we move south and west over here, we get over to Goodyear that has a lot of beautiful mountain views in the Estrella area. And even further west, go into Verrado in Buckeye. Verrado also offers the same kind of desert views and mountains in some areas as well. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not the only area that offers that desert feel, but those are some of the most popular areas that I suggest checking out if that's what you're looking for. Generally speaking, in terms of price, North Scottsdale and the Biltmore area, as well as Paradise Valley, are going to be more expensive. Central Phoenix, North Phoenix, East Mesa, kind of mid-range there, and Buckeye and Goodyear will be a bit more affordable. Generally speaking, of course. Next is schools. I get a lot of clients moving from out of state, and let's be honest, Arizona is not known for their great school system. So there's always a lot of concern of where should we live in order to be in a great school district. So some of the top ranked school districts in the valley are in Gilbert and Chandler. So this is going to be here in the Southeast Valley area. Scottsdale also has a great school district as well. And for the West Valley, we have Peoria and Goodyear also have some highly ranked school districts. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you don't care about schools and you're just looking for entertainment, let's talk about where you live. Some of the most popular and biggest entertainment areas in the valley, we're talking about Old Town Scottsdale being one of them. That's kind of this South Scottsdale area. South Scottsdale also borders Arcadia. There's a lot of things to do in that area as far as entertainment as well. So I would consider that another area to look at for entertainment. We also have downtown Phoenix. There's been a lot of new things coming up there. There's a lot to do in the downtown Phoenix area. Midtown and Uptown are just north of that. There's a lot to do there as well, and it can be a little bit more walkable. The light rail goes through those areas. In the West Valley, we have the Westgate area by Glendale, which is where the State Farm Stadium is. There's a lot to do over there as well. And then as we head over to the East Valley, Chandler and Gilbert each have their own downtown areas that are lots of fun. There's lots of restaurants, entertainment, bars, things like that. So if you decide to live in the East Valley, those might be your closest areas of that kind of entertainment downtown feel. Now, one of the most popular areas that people always talk about is Scottsdale, right? Everyone has heard of Scottsdale, and everyone has an opinion that Scottsdale is probably going to be expensive. And they're right. It is one of the most expensive cities within the valley, but it does offer a lot. So what about the buyer who wants to live in Scottsdale but can't afford it? I get this buyer a lot, and here are the areas that I recommend so that you're close enough to Scottsdale where you can enjoy the amenities, but you aren't paying the Scottsdale price. One of my favorite places to recommend for this is the Shaberhood area. This is around Shea and the 51. It also is surrounded by some mountain preserves, so that is another plus if you're looking for something like that. It's just a short drive over to Scottsdale, and it is more affordable than what you're going to get in Scottsdale. There's also the Paradise Valley Village area, which just borders Scottsdale as well. It is in Phoenix, so it isn't as pricey. There are a lot of older homes in this area, so a lot of this really depends on whether or not you're looking for an older home or a newer home. If we move up north a little bit, Desert Ridge, this is another great area. It is in Phoenix, but you can see how close it is to North Scottsdale, so that's an easy way to just pop over to Scottsdale for whatever you need, if anything, because Desert Ridge has a lot to offer. And some other areas I recommend is in this kind of north central Phoenix area. Now, don't get me wrong, that is not a super affordable area to live in depending on the neighborhood. There are a lot of really pricey areas in central Phoenix, but the further south you go, it's a bit more affordable. In this area here, Camelback East Village, that kind of borders Arcadia, that's an area where you might be able to find some homes that are a bit more affordable, and it's still close to Scottsdale. It's also close to Arcadia, which offers a lot to do as well. So I mentioned some of these areas have older homes, and if that is not your jam, that is fine. We can also look at new construction, and here are the areas I recommend if you're looking for more new construction homes. So for the most part, these are going to be further out of the city. There's not a ton of building going on in more of the established areas of the Phoenix area. So we're looking mainly at Queen Creek and Santan Valley out here in the Southeast Valley. You see a lot of new construction going on there. In the West Valley, we see a lot of new construction in Tullison, Levine, Goodyear, Buckeye, all throughout this area. There's a lot of new building going on, even in Waddell over here, especially up here in Surprise around the 303. There's a lot of new construction happening, and up here in the North Phoenix area as well. Now, if you're in this scenario where you're like, I don't know where to live, I'm going to be moving to Phoenix, and these are the things I like to do, and you want to set up a time to discuss that, check the description below. I have a link for a discovery call. I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. And don't forget to watch this video here about how to choose the right neighborhood in the Phoenix area.